Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Read, Watch, Play. Tonight, we're going to run down the weekly comics. We're going to give you our top 10 favorite holiday movies, and we're going to crack into a brick of Star Trek Heroclix. I'm super excited about this. I am your host, Tony Cox, and with me, as always, is
Clifford Parmenter.
And thank you for tuning in. So, we got a ton of comics to talk about today.
It feels like a ton, but it's pretty easy.
Yep. And then we're going to launch into another top 10 because everybody loved our DC movie top 10. So we're going to do holiday movies, which this was really hard for me to come up with 10. You said it was a bit of a struggle. I mean, I had a hard time narrowing it down to 10.
I had a struggle getting to 10.
Wow. So that's going to be interesting. So let's jump right into comics right now. So let's start off with Superman number 36.
Yes.
Now, can we just talk a little bit about this?
The new DC Universe logo?
Yeah. Adam, can we get the table cam here for a second?
It's super cute. I like it.
I like it a lot, too. I
like it better than the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no idea this was happening, though.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
No.
it's like a big deal. Like a bunch of people were tweeting, oh, my comic is going to be one of the first comics with the new logo. Yay!
That's crazy. I mean, I really like it. It's got kind of an old school feel. It still has the same, logo design, but they've redone the
I
whole
like
section.
that it's the repurposed old school DC. I love the little universe underneath. It's time for us to move away from the Rebirth banner.
Yep.
Not that I had a problem with the Rebirth banner,
Yep.
but I felt like we're here. Rebirth has happened. We're gonna get our showdown with Dr. Manhattan or whatever down the pipe in a year.
And it's been 2 years since Rebirth, right? Almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. So
Yeah, it's
very
about
cool.
time.
All right. So Superman number 36.
So this is the final chapter of Imperious Rex.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, so Lex wants off of Apocalypse.
Yep.
He's totally unconscious. As you remember from the last issue, John Kent Superboy came in on Hunger Wolves, and Lois with the female Furies, who of course they turned on her immediately because she wanted to help Superman, and then she beat the crap out of Lashina, and Superman turns to her and is like, "Do you know how much I've missed you?" So the book was a bit of a woo. So spoiler time. The big reveal is once everything's settled and back on Earth, and Superman has left Apocalypse with a splash of hope. Okay, he left two of their former military leaders who wanted to rebel against the regime, the order of things. He left them in charge, locked up all the villains like Granny, locked them all up. Mm-hmm. He gets back to Earth, and Lex is like, the Justice League calls, you're there. Everybody calls, you're there. He goes, me, you cut me no slack. I'm supposed to be your partner, because ever since the Superman showed up, Lex is still wearing the Superman S. Yeah. And he's like, Lex, he goes, what you did in Apocalypse is extremely dangerous. How am I supposed to trust you? He goes, that's it. He goes, we're done. Dangerous? That's what you want? Dangerous? And he just destroys the S shield from his armor. And that was it. That's my big hoo-ha finale for that.
Wow.
So yeah, I really enjoy the issue, and that one's a woo for me.
You think we're gonna get back to classic?
I think we're gonna get back to classic Lex versus Superman.
That's awesome.
He's drawn to see so gleeful and free. Also, it's his liberation as the name for the final chapter on that last page. Like Lex feels liberated from partnering with Superman.
Yeah.
Look, Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi are doing a great job with the Superman family, so I'm not going to complain.
Awesome.
Still a woo. I'm happy. Next up is the DC Holiday Special for 2017.
This is a big book.
It is a big book. It is a $9.99 book.
$9.99 book.
You know how? So last week there was a $7.99 book, and I snubbed it, and there was two artists in there who I really enjoy supporting, and then I felt bad for snubbing it, and so that was kind of rough for me.
So I'm always wary about picking up books like this because, holiday special, is it really something that's going to be engaging and fun, or is it just a cash grab and they're like, oh, it's the holidays, let's put out a holiday special, we'll reuse some stories or some artwork or whatever.
Well, no, we're not reusing anything, so that it's all new.
In this book, it's
all new stories. Okay. So it's probably, I'm sure it's still a crash grab, but it's all new. You remember Superman's character, the character in the Superman series, Bibbo, right?
Yeah.
He owns a bar, the Ace of Clubs.
Yeah.
So they're at the bar, and John Constantine is at the bar, and Clark Kent is at the bar.
Okay.
And Bibble basically tells John Constantine to get out because he's a negative Nelly. Mm-hmm. And, hey, Sam. Hey, Brian. Thank you for joining us. He's a big old negative Nelly, and he throws him out. Negative, I'm being so generous, right? Then he goes to Clark Kent, who's also being negative, being like, I don't feel like Superman's doing enough. I don't feel like Superman's accomplishing anything, right? And Bibble's like, are you kidding me? He's like, he goes, why do you come in here every year at Christmas and do this? You order club soda, and you wonder if Superman's doing enough good. And he names all these wonderful things that Superman has done.
Yeah.
And he goes, but what if it's not enough, Bibbo? What if every time Superman gets out there, he fixes one thing, 10 new terrible things show up?
Yeah.
Right? He goes, let me tell you something. There are terrible stories all the time. He goes, people come into my bar and tell me to I've heard everything. So then he regales him with multiple stories of the DC universe.
Oh, I see.
And they are all, they're all a little inspired, a little bit Christmassy. One is a tale from Sergeant Rock. One is a tale of Batman and Wonder Woman. And they actually light a holiday pyre in the woods to cast out the darkness. Mm-hmm. And Batman's like, Clark would really enjoy being here. She goes, no, Clark makes his own light. Like, that's it. $9.99. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, I know. Let me tell you, when I was holding it in my hand, I was like, ah.
Yeah, it's a thick. Like, I was like, oh wow, this is something here. So.
And then, of course, what I very much enjoy is that it ends with. I very much enjoy it ends with. Oh my God! Whoops! Why do I have sound? I should not have sound. Oh, let's just turn it down. Great, now I can hear it. Now, yeah, bad stereo. So anyhow, it ends with Superman and Constantine having a little conversation outside, and he's like, "Oh, come on, who are you fooling, Clark? I can see through the disguise." And they have their little wrap up conversation, and of course, Superman still leaves it with a light note in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, and invites him over for Christmas. And then talk about cash grab and reprints. There's The Silent Night of the Batman by Denny O'Neil. There's a couple stories in here by Denny O'Neil too. But The Silent Night of the Batman is in there, and that's a reprint, and it's really good. It's really funny because it's Batman caroling Silent Night with people, but then like showing his escapades from the evening, interjected. So it's really, really nice. So yes, a fun book. I'm gonna wood because I had a really good time, and I love seeing Constantine and interacting with Superman. But yeah, it's your own call. It's a $10 comic.
All right. And a woo for Superman as well.
Oh yeah, woo for Superman. I mean, I'm just so in love with the whole Superman Lois John Kent thing. I mean, you got to be really bad. It's got to be a really bad week for me to knock me down a peg.
All right. So next up is Deathstroke Defiance.
Oh my God, number 26. Oh my God. 26. Okay. So this issue is surprisingly about Joe and Isherwood. So Isherwood used to work for Slade, and then we think he's dead. And then and Isherwood was always part of his family, even when Joe was a little kid. And then when Joe first became Jericho, Isherwood's the one who helped make the costume. And then it turns out that Isherwood was Joe's lover when Joe was going to marry that girl that Deathstroke was sleeping with. And Joe is the one who figured out that Ish was going to out them to his father, and he's like, I can't have it. So he used his ability to knock Ish out of the sky, right? Because he flies, and he also had the white and gold costume at that time. So anyhow, and now Isherwood is this monstrous thing that rescued Deathstroke with the white face and all that, because they went to a hospital because of Joe. Using all of his mother's resources to try to save him. So they pumped him with all these formulas that they would have used for Deathstroke, right? And it did not take the same way, and it horribly mutated Ish. Wow. So, listen, great story. Great story. And I've really been enjoying Deathstroke Defiance. And then, of course, the whole thing with Deathstroke is locked up, all these arguments that are going on, the team looking for Deathstroke. And then there's a surprise other character from Deathstroke's past at the end waiting for him. And so, yeah, I really liked it. Oh, yeah. And then there's 3 surprises at the end of this book. I really, really, really like that there's a few surprises. So, totally down for that.
So you said it blew your mind.
Yeah, so it's woo.
Big woo. All right.
Yeah, especially because we're really getting into like Joe's background. Like, it's just like, oh, Joe, you're gay, but you're gonna marry that girl, and you're devastated that she's dead, and she was sleeping with your dad, and that's just like in the air, and like we haven't gotten to the meat of it, and this is like our first like hook into the meat. So I was very happy.
Awesome. So next up is Justice League number 34.
It was good.
Oh.
Okay, so it's a very confusing issue, right? Ooh. There's some people in space, and Simon Boz is like, okay, we got ships in space, stuff is happening.
Does this pick up from anything?
No.
It's
actually when you get to the end of it, it's like part 1 of the fall of Batman.
Okay.
So basically, the League has like 5-6 things going on, and Batman's basically kind of calling the shots. And ultimately, at the end, they kind of didn't need him. And the most important shot that he called, which was a situation in South America where Wonder Woman was at, that's the one where people actually like got hurt and killed. So Bruce is like totally devastated at the end. See, the breaking of Batman continues. Bruce is like devastated at the end. He's like sitting around the mansion, and Superman's like, "Hey, buddy, you all right? Like, it's okay." And he's like, "I need a break." He goes, "I think you guys are going to be better off without me." And he's like, "I mean, if you feel that way, Bruce." Wow. Like, Superman's like, "I don't want you to go. Like, but, if you need a break, like, no one's going to stop you. You're Batman. You're crazy. You need a break." See, simple review. It was a good issue. So I think because it's part of a bigger plot.
Yeah. And it's the first.
It's the first one. It was good. It's a soft woo.
Okay.
And speaking of soft woos...
we're going to continue on the soft woo train with Batman number 36.
Batman number 36. Great writing. It's Super Friends Part 1. The entire issue is about Superman, Clark, and Lois discussing not having talked to Batman yet about him proposing to Selina Kyle. And the other half of the issue is Selina and Bruce discussing not calling Clark to tell him about the engagement because he's your friend. But it's really great because as we build to them meeting each other at the end of the issue, we're seeing so much perspective from Superman and Batman and their thoughts of each other and how each of them thinks they're not the other one's friend. Because how are you a friend with someone like that? Mm-hmm. And then of course, they're talking to their prospective significant others, they're talking about he's a better man than I am. He's a better man than I am. Yeah. The world took so much from him, and he uses that to become a beacon of hope. And he's like, he lost his entire world and was a stranger in a strange land, finding out how strange he was every single day, and all that power. And he took that and became a symbol of hope. Yeah. So just a beautiful back and forth dynamic between the two of them. So yeah, soft woo because again, this was an entire issue. And, oh yeah, by the way, like, they fought Dr. Double X briefly, a little bit in the background too. So soft woo, this was one of those stories that I felt like would have made a nice short story in a $7.99 comic.
It reminds me, the premise sort of reminds me of the 2012 run of Batman Superman.
Yes.
Which I love. I love that whole run. Yeah. Art by Jay Lee, which I'm a huge fan of Jay Lee.
It took place on Earth too.
It mostly took place on Earth too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Was it Earth 2?
It took place on Earth 2.
No. It was about the Prime Universe Batman and Superman meeting, and then they go.
They did go to Earth 2 in their first story.
It's yes.
Yeah.
The Earth 2 is involved. Like pre Darkseid invasion.
No, but
Earth 2,
right. And also I forgot because it was so as a weird thing, that series
because at a certain point there's Batman and Superman from Earth 2 and Batman and Superman from Earth
1. Yes.
And they're like trying to figure out like
how it's all working,
like how they're friends in the other universe and stuff. And,
right? How like they're such good friends.
Well, well, and the thing is like there's the first one in the first issue. There's the scene where Bruce is watching these kids pick on this other kid, and he's like, here it comes, he's gonna whatever, and then right before the kid goes to punch him, which is what Bruce wants to happen, Clark walks up and he stops them from fighting, and then they sort of have an argument over how that should have gone down, and it turns out Clark is there to interview Bruce. For this paper, it's one of my favorite scenes in all of comics.
There's so many good things about it.
So many great things,
especially because he shouldn't know that that's Bruce, but super hearing heartbeats.
Yeah. So
it's good. It's very good.
So soft woo on that. So
soft woo.
All right, so let's move on to some Marvel flavor right here in Iceman number 8.
Strong woo again.
Iceman versus Iceman.
Yes, because
part 1.
All right, so basically part 1 of 1. So it's all in one shot.
Of one.
Yeah,
okay.
See, there's a great story, one book, and let's keep moving. Great. So the two Icemen team up, the two Bobbies team up, and he goes, "Hey, you want to have dinner with our parents? Because Mom found out that there's 2 of us, and now they want to have like a big family dinner sort of thing going on, right?" And he's like, "Okay, sure." So he's really nervous, so he can't unfreeze. His young Bobby is in ice form because he's so nervous about dinner.
Yeah.
And then they're treating him really nice at dinner, and young Bobby. And Big Bobby is like, "What on earth why are you guys acting like this?" And like, "Oh, honey, we have a room for you at home. You can come home and live with us. And, you can pursue whatever you want to pursue." And he's like, "Oh my God, you guys have no clue about what I want to pursue. And I remember what I wanted when I was his age." He goes, "Isn't that right, Mr. Chef?" So young Bobby turns completely to ice because he's so nervous about the situation. Big Bobby tears into them and said, "You two are crazy. You think that this time travel mishap is a divine intervention for you two to have a chance to get it right with the younger version of me." He's like, "You're sick." So then they peel the ice off of young Bobby. And young Bobby's like, "What did I miss?" And he's like, "Shut up." He goes, "You heard exactly every word of that." So then they get up from the table. And young Bobby starts flipping out. "There's no way I'm going to live with you. And next time we have family dinner," he's like, "I'm bringing my boyfriend, the one I kiss in public." And he's like, "Okay, taper it down, buddy." And he's like, "Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I'll make him 90s acceptable gay by the next time we have dinner." And I'm dying because I loved every minute of it. I so identified with everything. I so identified with this version of everything that Iceman is going through. And it's super cute because the guy from LA that he likes shows up at the very end, and he's put like "I miss you" on a card, and he's like, "Hey, Bobby," he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" And Colossus tackles him. "No, Colossus, he's my special friend,
It sounds like it's shaping up to be a really good story.
It's become like those first 2 issues. I was like, it has become so much more.
Yeah.
The artists that they have are amazing.
Yeah.
The storytelling is amazing. I'm super happy with that book. Huge woo.
All right, let's move on to a couple of comics written by
Tony Cates.
And
so this man, is on fire right now. Okay, he's got the new Thanos book where people are loving it. Right, because that Thanos is amazing. I told you, y'all need to jump on his Doctor Strange. It is wonderful. Also, he has this book Reactor, which is Interceptor Volume 2. So Interceptor, all of humanity has left for the stars because of vampires on Earth.
As happens.
Right, so they sent this Interceptor down there so she can just annihilate...
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Joe. Annihilate the vampires. Volume 2, she's still there, but there's still people who live on Earth, right? And by the way, an immortal, 10-year-old is the one, ruling over humanity in the stars, in space. Yes, that's him.
Oh, my gosh.
And so now, because he doesn't want the other humans to know that he left humans on Earth to die with those vampires, he wants to send down a bomb squad and blow up the Earth completely. Wow. So there you guys have it. Great opening. This guy's a great writer. I just wanted to throw that out there because, this was it. And so woo from me. Also, there's like a mini story in the back written by somebody completely different. It's about a ghost who's been haunting his house for ages. He's like, this is my home. But he can't scare the family because there's so much TV and internet and tablets and phones that no matter what he does, right, the worst thing that happens is like, I'll kill your children. This sucks. I'm getting digital. We're getting digital, right? Honey, we're upgrading to fiber. I can't take it anymore. We're upgrading to fiber. This is just some bull. Like, they can't even, absorb it. So, really fun little backup story.
Very cool. Now, also by the same author is Doctor Strange number 382, Loki, Sorcerer Supreme.
Part 2. So good. So now we see Doctor Strange interacting with his patients, veterinarian Doctor Strange.
Right.
He's got the dog that's still talking to him. But the beginning of the issue, he's climbing this huge icy peak mountain, terrified of who he's going to encounter on top, but knowing he needs this person's help. Right? In the meantime, Loki is bonding romantically with Doctor Strange's friend from the last issue. So she's hanging out with the new Sorcerer Supreme. How do you think this makes Steven feel? It's not good. I'm not going to ruin everything. But he has an altercation with Loki that doesn't go so hot. And that leads him to needing help from that friend that he's climbing this horrible peak for. And also something happens to one of the characters that I think is so sweet. So anyhow, spoiler alert. If we have that warning sign.
Oh, do we have the spoiler?
You find it while I talk. Steven climbs to the top.
Here it is.
The character's name is very recognizable, so I knew immediately before I flipped the page. But the person that's on the top of this peak is hiding inside of their own mind. It's the return of a character you have not seen since the Siege. It's the Sentry.
Wow.
And next issue, Sentry versus Asgard.
Wow. Very
so
cool.
Exciting. Great issue. Very happy. Huge woo. Danny Cates on fire. Gabriel Walta. The freaking artwork. Fire.
Very nice.
So excited. And then last but not least, in the comic rundown, Jupiter Jet #1 by Jason Inman. Yes.
And
Ashley Wifey Robinson.
Ashley
What's
Joy Robinson?
I don't remember.
I think
it open. I butcher her. I always forget her middle name. I'm a terrible person.
Where is it?
Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Yes. Line art by Ben Matsuya. So I'm sure he's happy. Really fun setup issue. What do you call these? What, a dirigible? Is that what that is?
It's just like a Zeppelin.
It's a Zeppelin. Okay, so she's robbing a Zeppelin, this young woman, right? Her father... So basically we're thrust into the story. We're thrust into her having a robbery, and she is retelling the story very heroically to her little brother who's technically inclined, right? And then she tells him what really happened. He goes, well, at least you escaped with the money because we need money. We're in trouble, right? Their father is dead. He died, or he had an accident. He was murdered. They don't know. Their landlord is terrible, and they're arguing about going to live on their uncle's farm. The uncle shows up, straightens everything out, uses his farm as collateral so that the kids still have a place to live. The jetpack that she uses, they don't know anything. It showed up when her father died, right? And it has a mysterious power source. She, when she robbed the money, also robbed something that also appears to be another mysterious power source. Her brother tries to turn it into a different type of jet propulsion for himself. In the meantime, there's a villain who's collecting these very powerful artifacts and is killing anyone in his path who wants them. So that's it. That's my general wrap up. It was good. I'm interested in what's happening in the story. We get a little sneak peek at the end of the next issue, and we also get a little 2-page part 1 origin of her. And it's just 2 quick pages just to give you a little taste of what happened 7 years ago when the night her father died. Wow. So yeah, it was a good first issue. Good character. It's fun.
I'm not crazy about the artwork, but it's definitely a distinct style, which is nice.
Well, I feel like it has like it's got a setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
My only critique was, I wasn't necessarily sure how I felt about jumping right in the middle. Like, I like that she was describing an adventure, but we don't know anything about her yet. Which is fine. That's a legitimate way of telling it. I don't want to poo-poo because then I'm gonna be like,
the next time you see Jason,
he'll be like, don't even look at me.
Don't.
I don't care that you helped deliver I don't care that you helped send those books.
Yeah.
Hey, Martin,
Hey.
stay tuned. We're gonna open Star Trek clicks and get all crazy.
Stay tuned, Martin, because I'm a huge Trekkie. I don't know if you know that, Martin, but I'm a huge Trekkie, and I'm super excited about cracking this open.
So my honorable mention for tonight is Shadow on the Batman, number 3, written by my beloved Steve Orlando. And Giovanni Timpani on art, who is fabulous. And do you remember seeing him when we were at the show? I saw him at the show.
I think I went and got B-roll of the floor room when you guys went over there. So.
Great issue, lots of fun, still a woo. I love Steve's writing. The characters are great. If you love Damian Wayne, he's perfectly in there. Oh my God, does this mean we move into holiday movies?
Let's get right into it. What did we watch? And in our this week's What Did We Watch segment, we're going to give you our top 10, each of us, our top 10 favorite holiday movies.
Oh, we have a few that crossed over. I'm so excited.
We have 4 that crossed over. Super excited.
Yay.
So, all right.
Just
so
leave
let's...
me hanging.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see that.
That's why you got the hit.
All right, so let's jump right into this. We'll start with your number 10,
which is 4 Christmases.
4 Christmases. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've never seen this movie.
Okay, well, it's perfect for people who are miserable at the holidays.
Great.
So that's why it immediately had to be on my list.
Okay.
Look, it's hysterical. This is my favorite part from the whole movie. Just him wrestling his brothers.
Anytime. Oh man, I just blanked on their names.
I blanked on their names too, except for Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau and the guy that Jon Favreau always works with, the comedian guy. That's really funny, and he's in everything.
He is in everything.
Yeah. Anytime they're together,
God,
they always
terrible.
They
Let me throw it in my top 10, but blank on everyone's name. Reese Witherspoon co-stars in this movie. That I can remember with no
Robert
problem.
Duvall is also in it.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, he and his wife, what's his face there? They and Reese Witherspoon.
When you want professionalism and entertainment knowledge, you've come to the right.
Just watch.
Right
I'm
place.
gonna have to interview him next year for something. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn.
There you go.
So Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon want to get the heck out for Christmas, abandon their family. They haven't had spent family with their Christmas with their families in freaking years, and flights get canceled, things happen, and 4 Christmases. Let's go to Dad's house and Mom's house, so-and-so's house. Gets real crazy, and it's so good because, of course, like, you think his family's nuts. So his family is nuts, like, physically.
Yeah.
And then, like, her family is, like, nuts, like, emotionally battering.
Oh, wow.
And it's hysterical. Absolutely hysterical.
Very cool. I may have to check this one out because I've been trying to watch a bunch of holiday movies this year. So, all right, my number 10.
Which, by the way, your number 10
Yeah.
would definitely go on my
Oh,
on
yeah,
my
let's
side
just
list.
quickly mention honorable mentions. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Well, your number 10 would be one of my honorable mentions,
Yeah.
and some of your others would be my honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions are Miracle on 34th Street, the 1947 version.
I can't watch anymore, but it's a classic.
Which
is surprising considering one of the other ones on my list.
That's true. So I the first time I ever saw it was like about 4 years ago.
Which is similar to the other one on my list.
Yep.
That's good, but not 4 years ago. Much longer.
The Santa Claus, the Disney one with Tim
Yes.
Allen. I really enjoy that movie and that whole series.
I enjoy it despite him, absolutely.
That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you there.
That's fine.
Batman Returns.
You know what? I never think of that as a Christmas movie, even though it clearly takes place at Christmas.
because the whole reveal that when they find out that my favorite scene in that movie.
A
mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it.
Yes.
A kiss can be deadlier if you mean it. Like that whole interaction.
And I love that they re-interact on it.
Yeah.
However, with all of that, and as cool it is, I hate the city in that one. The city just looks too studioed. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's me. I've come to, especially after Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight series, like I've come to appreciate the stylization.
No, I appreciate
of Batman
it because
and Batman
it's
Returns.
well, yeah, but Batman still feels like a whole city when you watch that first Batman. This one feels like a giant set that we're having playtime with. However, it's nowhere near as bad as Batman Forever. Talk about feeling like a giant set.
Ugh.
Oh my, yeah.
Let's not even get started.
Yeah.
Frosty the Snowman, the cartoon.
Delightful. Santa Claus the
Happy
cartoon.
birthday.
But you know what? I excluded him and Rudolph and Frosty. I excluded all of them because they're not feature-length films, in my opinion.
Well, Frosty definitely isn't.
Right. Frosty's only a half hour.
Rudolph
is an hour maybe. And Santa Claus is an hour.
I think technically over 45 minutes is a feature length.
Right, not for me.
I know, that's fine.
For me, you got to hit 90 minutes.
And then my last honorable mention is Trapped in Paradise.
What is that?
So this is Nicolas Cage, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz are three brothers.
The 80s in me is all over it.
It's definitely a 90s movie, and basically they Nicolas Cage either Nicolas Cage or all three of them have just gotten out of prison because they're criminals. They're like petty thieves, and somebody in prison told them of this story of this little rinky-dink town that has a bank where the security guard's asleep and like all this stuff. And it reminds me a lot of It's a Wonderful Life, but in a really messed up way. So they go to this, and it's Paradise, Pennsylvania, I think is the name of the town. And they rob the bank, and they're bumbling idiots, but they pull it off anyway because this town is so like unprepared for it. And then there's a huge snowstorm, their car doesn't work, and they literally get trapped, and all the people in town just take care of them and make them feel at home and feed them, and then as slowly as the movie progresses, they're
guilt.
like, how can we take from these people? It's an amazing
all their
movie.
savings.
It's
savings.
And they have dinner at the bank president's house, and he's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. All of the Christmas club money's gone. Nobody's gonna have money to buy presents, and then they're not gonna give any money to the bank next year.
Here, have another serving of Christmas ham.
And then they're like, please, here's a warm sweater.
Yeah.
And
can we refill your brandy?
I think there's literally a scene where they come in cold and wet, and the bank president's family open presents that they were gonna give to each other that were sweaters,
right,
and give to the robbers to make them feel warm. And it's just it's so good. You should definitely check it out. It's amazing. It's great. It was my number 11 easily. Oh my god. So my number 10.
That probably would have made my top 10.
Oh yeah, it's so
oh my god, the other one, the night before.
Oh, the night before.
Yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta see that. That might go up on the list.
So my number 10 is Santa Claus the movie.
Because from the creators of Superman came Santa Claus the movie. So
this movie is about the literal the origins of,
and I love that,
Santa Claus, and and how this man who brings gifts to these kids in these little villages, in Norway or whatever. Is rescued from the cold. Him and his one reindeer
and his wife,
and I think it's Dasher.
And the one
Dasher?
Yeah, I think
one of the reindeer. Yeah, Dasher, and is rescued by the elves who have been waiting for him to arrive, and basically
because he's the chosen one, which is
just the chosen one.
So amazing.
Flash forward, hundreds of years,
yes.
And one of this quirky elf played by
Dudley Moore. Oh my god!
And he's Patch, right? Yes. His name is Patch. And he wants to come up with all these innovative ways of making it faster to create the holiday gifts, the Christmas toys.
Yes.
And he creates this machine.
And don't forget the holiday candy because it's such a huge.
Yeah, and the candy, and so they end up doing this. Assembly line, and they test it out. They the elves with the old style of making it by hand, and Patch with his machinery.
New contraption, yeah.
Yeah, they have a test, and they see who can make them faster. And Patch obviously wins, but the quality of the toys, they don't know this at the time, the quality of the toys are not up to snuff. And so what happens is after he delivers all the toys, between that and the next Christmas, all of the toys come back because the parents have thrown them out and got rid of them because the toys broke because they weren't made well. And so they actually, I don't know if they banish Patch or if he voluntarily leaves.
No, I think he voluntarily leaves because they make him feel like garbage.
Yeah, because they basically make him feel like garbage. So he takes some of the magic fairy dust powder that makes
that is used in their candy.
Yeah.
That
No. Not yet.
Oh, not yet?
No. This is what they feed the reindeer so that they can fly.
Oh, that's right.
Okay? Then he goes to what he thinks is the guy who brings joy to kids, who is like the president of this toy company.
Might as well be Hasbro.
Played by John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm. Love John Lithgow.
And he presents this thing about how he can bring joy to kids and that he wants him to help make the stuff. And he's like, well, what do you got? And so then he gives him the candy that has this magic fairy dust in it that makes the reindeer fly, and it makes him fly. And so he's like, I love it. And my favorite line is he goes, it'll be like Christmas, but better. We'll call it Christmas 2.
Yes.
And and so he helps him manufacture these candies, these candy canes and stuff, and he goes and he delivers them with Santa, and it's this wonderful story. There's a side story with this young homeless kid who meets this girl. Like, it's just a really interesting sort of take on the Santa Claus story.
And yet that movie is like trashed by many.
Oh yeah, it's panned by a lot of people. This is why this is a list of our favorites, not necessarily the best.
But you know what's funny is, like, I don't consider it a bad film.
Right.
I feel there's a lot of things to make it bad. Like, I didn't think Valerian was bad, right? Like, I thought there was enough good elements happening there that it compensated that we had two terrible leads.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, when people just throw around this term like bad film, I'm like, I need to, like, kidnap y'all and make you watch bad films.
Yeah.
Okay? So that you will, like, leave and, like, kiss the feet of movies like Justice League. Yeah. Oh, help me.
So Santa Claus the movie is my number 10.
Yes.
So your number 9.
My number 9, in the spirit of holiday films, is 8 Crazy Nights, an animated feature featuring Adam Sandler. Who knew I would enjoy it?
The Hanukkah song.
The Hanukkah song.
I've never seen this movie.
Okay, it is Hanukkah-rific. So Adam Sandler's
Hanukkah-rific, trademark.
Adam
Play.
Sandler's character is just a bad person, and just everything he does, he wrecks everything for everyone, especially now that it's the holidays. Wow. So he feels like garbage. But his uncle, his old coach. I think. So now I need to rewatch it. You better put it on Netflix. So anyhow, his old coach takes him in, and with his coach's sister is a total weirdo, but it's hilarious. It's great. And they take him in and they just try to teach him, like, to be a better person at Hanukkah. And and of course, we finally get around to that. But it's just hysterical all the way. And of course, he alienates himself again from everybody. One more big phenomenal time. But it's not like I love too many Adam Sandler movies. It's kind of like I really enjoyed some of his early work. Then we took a nosedive. Then this thing showed up, and I'm really amused by it. And then we took another nosedive. And then there's a couple that kind of float in the middle for me.
Can I just tell you, now that I'm a parent and I want nothing to do with, like, stressful, like, movies and stuff.
All his movies seem magical.
All of his movies are amazing because they're just entertaining enough. They have just enough star power, and if I fall asleep during them, I'm not going to be upset if I miss the second half of the movie. Yeah. It's great. So, so my number 9 is higher on your list.
Yes.
So we're going to skip it, and I am actually going to wait to talk about it.
Okay, fine. Like I said, we could just hit it first.
No. So your number 8 is
a time-honored classic, apparently.
Not in my book, but go ahead.
Well, okay, so, like, here's the thing. It's Home Alone. And so, regardless of how you feel about it, clearly...
you filthy animal.
But I was going to say, regardless of how you feel, clearly it has earned its place in holiday movie history.
I agree, and I think for me, it's just a matter of simply overwatching it too much.
Right, here's the magic. Here's the magic.
Home Alone 2?
No. Oh, God, no. No. I haven't watched this since I was a teenager. And then I watched it a couple years ago. And it was pretty funny because I've been staying away from it for so long.
I bet my son would love this movie.
And I think,
in fact, my son reminds me of Kevin McAllister.
And I will not disagree with you whatsoever. I have been through your front door, and your son is ready. I want you to show it to him because I think you'll enjoy it, but I don't want you to show it to him because I think you'll get ideas.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
But
absolutely will.
So yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, his family freaking forgets him, and he's at home, and he's just like rigging things up to like stay safe at Christmas.
Do you subscribe to the theory that his father wanted to keep him away from the trip? Have you heard of this theory?
I have, and you know what's funny is once it's in your head,
it's hard to not watch the movie thinking that his father spills the drink on purpose, and then when he cleans up the mess, purposefully grabs his plane ticket and throws it away.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of wrong.
It's dark.
It's a little dark.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, you can't account for the head counting. Like his father, that's the thing. Once she does the head count, the mother does the head count, and the mom screws up the head counts.
Yeah.
How is the father playing that? He doesn't do anything to accommodate for that.
You just debunk the theory.
Yes.
Done.
You know,
Theory
if he took the little cousin and the little cousin played by his little brother, his real life little brother, by the way. If he purposely shoved the cousin into position, or if he bumped him into position, right, then we can blame him. And then it's like that bump isn't innocent. But no, the cousin comes right in at just the right time. Mama does the head count, and it's all oh my God. But you know, I love her so much that the only part of the sequel that I love is her realization that they did it again. Because she has the most fantastic reaction and the most fantastic hysterical follow-up. Like she turns into Winona Ryder in season 1 of Stranger Things, and I love that. Yeah. I love it.
All right, so Home Alone is your number 8.
Yes.
My number 8. How can you have Christmas without A Christmas Carol? And my favorite is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
I may give it a try sometime.
Michael, you've never seen it?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I can't remember what Muppet movie came out and crushed my soul. But one of them did, and maybe it was this one even, or maybe it was Treasure Island. I don't know which one.
Well, don't Treasure Island.
Yeah, that one's a soul crusher.
It's almost as bad as Muppets from Space.
Like they're hurtful. They are hurtful.
This, though, in my opinion, if watching all of the different popular variations of this story, save for one that's later on this list, this is my favorite of the classic tale.
Yeah.
And narrated by Gonzo and Rizzo. You can't go wrong. And just a really fun musical holiday Christmas movie, and framed in the classic, Charles Dickens Christmas Carol. It's just great. And Michael Caine. How can you go wrong with Michael?
Well, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
That man is everything.
Yeah. So The Muppet Christmas Carol is my number 8.
I'm gonna check it out because of you.
Thank you. I'm gonna check it. Well, this is great because there's some of these I'm gonna go back and revisit too. So, all right. Now your number 7 is higher on my list.
Yes.
So let's go to my number 7, which is the classic, the Christmas classic, Gremlins. Now, I introduced this to my son the day after
hysterical
Thanksgiving.
because it very much takes place at Christmas.
Oh, yes. I mean, it is, yes. I mean, it's about a father giving his son a gift that, doesn't follow the rules, And I will be honest with you, every toy...
I'm not getting you kids a dog. You're not going to take care of it. No, we're going to clean it.
So I made my son watch this. He loved it, by the way. Okay, and we have conversations about like movies not being real and stuff like that. So, and I encourage him to ask me questions about like movies and stuff. Like if he's wondering about like did that person really die? And it's like no, it's just a story. It's a story of telling us a story. But I did not tell him that with this. I told him it was all real. And when he unwraps his presents on Christmas, I'm going to say if you draw on this, if you get it wet. If you feed it after midnight, if you don't take care of it, it's going to turn into one of those.
And what did he say?
Well, when he opens his presents on Christmas, I'm going to tell him that.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully to encourage him to take care of his toys.
Oh, let's see.
And I may or may not have gotten him a gizmo.
That would be great.
Yes, Joe agrees with me on Muppets. So,
Yeah.
so this movie is fantastic. I actually, I worked with the kid who plays Billy in this movie, and I worked in an acting studio with him. Super nice guy. He's an acting coach, and there's a lot of talk about them trying to possibly do a
remake sequel, yeah.
a remake sequel of this. I'm one of the few people that probably actually likes Gremlins 2. Adam, what's your opinion on Gremlins 2? Take it or leave it.
There's some fun parts.
I just the super intelligent Gremlin who he's like the best.
He's the funny part.
Yeah, he's great. But Gremlins is I love it. It's a very dark comedy though. Like it's very dark. Like my wife was watching it for the first time in several years, and Phoebe Cates' character tells the story about her father. Mm-hmm. And she's like, my wife is like, oh, I don't remember this. She's like, this is dark. And I was like, yeah, it is.
You want to know something really, really, really funny about Gremlins 2?
What?
It is the only innocent grammar school. I was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. Innocent grammar school heterosexual date I ever went on.
Really?
Yep.
Was to go see Gremlins 2?
Yep. She really wants to see Gremlins 2. And everyone in class thought it was hysterical that this girl went out with me. Because, children are wonderful.
Children are wonderful. So that's my number 7, Gremlins. Batman Gremlin also. Oh wait, no. How did we get a gremlin made out of vegetables in Gremlins 2?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Batman Gremlin also. Because Gremlins 2 is awesome, Joe. That's why. All right, so your number 6, which was on my short list, was on my list. I almost put this on, is The Holiday.
Yes. I want to live this movie.
It's a wonderful movie.
Yeah, I want to be Kate Winslet so bad.
My wife introduced me to this movie.
It's a really good romantic holiday, and it's not complicated like one that's on our list a little later on. That one's way more complicated, where it has healthy love stories and bad love stories.
Yes, actually it does.
This one has 2 healthy romantic little stories, but like, my God, Kate Winslet in LA, like every moment is magical, and she befriends the freaking
Jack Black is amazing in this movie.
Jack Black is amazing in this movie. It just reinvigorates me for Jumanji.
Well, and this movie legitimized Jack Black for me.
Right,
I was like, this really? I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. And we watched it, and because my wife she only knows Jack Black from this movie.
That's amazing.
And then I'm like, let's watch School of Rock. Here, let me show you some Tenacious D music videos. And she's like, oh my God.
Does she like School of Rock though?
Oh, she loves School of Rock.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say. So, but anyhow, I love this movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I would happily be her or Kate Winslet. Actually, I think I'd rather be her because I want Jude Law. But awful. But anyhow, it's a great movie. But I particularly am in love with Kate Winslet's storyline, and I want you to know, I just watched this movie again recently, and I was just freaking crying and being like, no one wants me, and every man I'm even remotely interested in just either ignores me or ignores my interest.
House swap.
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Oh yeah,
I want to do it.
Okay.
And although my friend in Brazil wrote to me today to ask me some questions because he's going to the UK. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, Cliff, when I get back, he goes, why don't you just come down to Brazil and visit, and I'll be your guide. So, I don't know. Either I want to do the house swap, especially now that we can fly to Dublin out of Stewart Airport, for $99.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to pay $200 because I need extra seating. But anyhow, yeah, I am actually really tempted to do this because, like Belle, I want adventure.
Hey, Zach, and hey, Chris.
Hey, Zach.
Chris and Joe are doing Gremlins 2 trivia.
He drank the vegetable medley.
Yeah, he's talking about the vegetable.
Oh my God, I get it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so I love this movie too. My wife introduced it to me. Very heartwarming, just funny, entertaining, and just like one of those movies you want to wrap yourself up, Okay, my number 6 is another classic. White Christmas, Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney,
George Clooney's aunt.
just it's for those of you who aren't aware, it's the story of it's the story of these two veterans, World War I veterans. They're entertainers. They have their own popular nightly show, and they want to do. They plan on going up to. I forget how it works, but Danny Kaye's character sort of manipulates everybody into getting up to their old XO's bed and breakfast.
By the way, you want to know why I can't say a word to you about the plot of this movie?
Because you're confusing it with Holiday Inn.
No, that's one thing. Yeah. But just like Holiday Inn, both of them put me to sleep every freaking time.
It's funny because when you watch old classic movies like this, I agree with you. A lot of times it's just like these, but for some reason this one I love the idea of them wanting to put on this big show for their old XO.
Listen,
and help them make the thing.
I respect your appreciation for it.
I like the process of theatrical production also,
right.
and that's probably another reason why
I love the old musician in the Kate Winslet storyline. I'm there for that.
Is he a musician? No, he's a screenwriter.
He's a screenwriter, but he made her own music for her. Remember, he actually wrote a little cute music note for her. Remember?
Oh,
no, Jack Black is the screenwriter. The old man is the musician.
Oh, right.
And then
I just remember the whole conversation about meet cute.
And then he won the beautiful award, and they played the little music that they made for him.
Yeah.
With Jack Black. Oh my God, I love the whole thing.
So and
back to this.
Yeah, and in this, he convinces the girls to come up, but it's a musical. Danny Kaye dances. It to me is, I'll be honest with you, there's one classic, all-time classic holiday movie that is not on our list. It's not on either one of our lists. At least I don't think it's not on your list. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's on my list.
It is?
Oh my God.
No, it's not.
Oh crap, it's supposed to be on my list. What did I accidentally put in its place? Dang. All right. Well, that was the one I was going to defend. And,
okay.
And I guess it probably shared a spot with somebody else. And
let's take a moment to talk about that movie because I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you should. So let me tell you.
I know the plot, and I've seen bits and pieces of it here and there.
Great acting. Donna Reed, amazing. I know. No one wants to talk about Donna Reed, but Donna Reed's amazing, just like Jimmy Stewart.
No, Chris, just hang on because we're not done with the list yet.
Oh, yeah. You hang in there, buddy.
You hang in there, buddy.
Because I got a doozy for everybody.
Buddy, we're only at number 6, okay? Yeah. It's going to be a little bit before we get to that one.
So anyhow, I'll try to make this quick. It used to bore the heck out of me as a child, and it only gets black and white, and I would roll my head, and I never finished it. Then NBC is like, we are going to purchase the rights to this.
So I'm gonna give you a little history lesson here. It's a Wonderful Life was a huge flop when it came out.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible. NBC did not buy the rights.
But
at a certain point, they went to they're like, nobody wants to work on the holidays. Mm-hmm. What are we gonna run during the holiday seasons during these empty times? So they literally went to the trash bin. They literally went to the trash bin of old movies and said, "Oh, here's a holiday movie that's the perfect length for what we need, and we'll just run this constantly." And that's how It's a Wonderful Life became. And the thing was that the royalties the rights had run out, so it was free to play on any station. So that was free for anyone to play.
And it was played to death when I was a child, which is then where the NBC thing happens.
Oh, and then they bought it.
Right, because NBC is like, this is ridiculous. Yep. Everybody plays it. It got to the point where no one wanted to watch it because it was on TV all the time. Yep. It was on ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS was showing it. So, PBS is important here for my story. Once NBC established, we're going to claim all the rights and we're going to show it once a year. I watched the final broadcast on PBS, which I do not remember the name of the moderator, but he was wonderful, and he told the story that you just shared with us. And he told a few other stories about behind the scenes and stuff, which was great. And somehow this helped bring me into the movie, or just the fact that I knew that this movie was going to become more special very shortly, and I've never given it a chance. But that was the day I gave it a chance. I watched it on PBS with this moderator in between, and send us money in between, and all these breaks. I really liked it. It really moved me because I was so happy. And maybe it's because I love Superman so much, and Jimmy Stewart's character was so much in line with being good to your fellow man and being good to your community and standing by his morals just as hard as he could, until, of course, we get to the point of the beginning of the film where we meet him and he really wants to jump off that bridge. But anyhow, it's just sweet. It's just a sweet movie that, and it's so funny that, it was just a garbage film once, and now it's like a beloved, holiday classic and everything. But yeah, the movie is good. But I mean, it's also just, it's a big old Americana, heartly, warm fest. So, but anyhow, it should have been on my list, and I can't believe I blew it.
Well, super honorable mention, and hopefully maybe one day I'll check it out. So White Christmas,
maybe this year,
again, is one of my favorites, and that's my number 6. So let's hit your number 5, which was my number 9, and that is
Love Actually.
Love.
Oh my God, the most hysterical
Actually.
moment you could pick too.
Yeah.
He dances in a lot of movies. You realize that?
He's a good dancer.
He is. I just watched the other night. The Florence, Florence Foster Jenkins, and he plays her husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, based on the life of Florence Foster Jenkins, right? Loosely the life, right? Because this was really covering the end of her life, the movie. But he danced in that movie too. Jeez. He's in his lover's apartment, or he's in his apartment that he lives in with his lover. Yeah. And someone calls him out to dance, and he just starts doing the jive and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, it was so funny. Yeah. Also, Horowitz from Big Bang Theory, I forgot his real name.
Yeah,
but anyhow, he's in the movie. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So he's playing her piano player, right? And she hires that she can do more practice and all this stuff, and it's super cute. And so anyhow, while they're in the lover's studio apartment.
Yeah, so Iron Man 3 is written and directed by Shane Black, which I believe almost every single one of his movies takes place at Christmas. He wrote the original Predator, or he was a co-writer, and possibly that movie takes place at Christmas also. And Deadpool does technically take place on Christmas, although they do not make that clear in the film. You sort of have to watch the deleted scenes to be aware that it's...
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past is a Christmas movie, yes.
We apologize if you hear any popping in the background. Apparently somebody's shooting off fireworks outside. Because it's
Adam,
December 6th.
Did you got any recon? What's going on up there?
Big fireworks.
Wow.
It's Christmas fireworks?
They're pretty big, right down the road.
Oh, that's right. We're across this little river thingy. This is a river, right?
It is the Greene County Chamber of Commerce Christmas party.
Yes, I saw all these people. I meant to tell you that, right 2 blocks up the road. So yeah. That's probably enjoy the sound of fireworks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I was invited and I couldn't go. So
we could.
I mean, I didn't want to go. I wanted to be here.
We could have just done the show from there.
The show live.
I would have just Wouldn't have been great.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. Yeah, probably. So Love Actually
is adorable and a little bit stalkerish, depending on which story you're following.
There's a lot of complex relationships in this.
There are, but most of them are very cute.
Yes. Yes. Liam Neeson's family, the way they're all connected.
By the way, they did a 13-minute follow-up.
The sequel one?
It was
for Red Nose Day.
For Red Nose Day, it's so good. And I thought it did justice to so many of the characters.
Yeah. I can't believe they got everybody to come back and do it, too, that they had.
Yeah. I feel like somebody was missing from the group.
Oh, there were several people.
Oh, God, Alan Rickman wasn't alive to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty amazing. This movie is, I'm borderline, I've seen it too much. But so I've sort of stopped watching it every year, but it's still one that I remember when it came out, I was so enamored with it, and I still love it, and I love all the stories. And
I don't love all the stories. I want to be very clear about that. But I like most of the stories.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But yeah. So that's your number 5. My number 9, Love Actually. So my number 5 is higher on your list. So
Yes.
we'll talk about it then. So let's move on to your number 4, which again, this one was also on my short list.
Oh, it's on your short list?
Yeah,
I
yep.
thought no one was going to think of this movie.
We talked about it, and I was like, this is probably like I literally had 18 to 20 movies.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably my 20th or 21st, and that is Trading Places.
Oh my God. I just love it
Dan
so
Aykroyd,
much.
Eddie Murphy.
What more do you need? And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. I forgot Jamie Lee Curtis was in the
Dude,
movie.
she won an award for Best Supporting Actress for this movie. Not for the Academy Awards, but like Golden Globe or
Golden Globes.
something.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, dude, she was amazing. This movie is so good.
I'm gonna rewatch this one this year because
It's worthy of the
like
rewatch.
Eddie Murphy is sort of this con artist. Dan Aykroyd's this stock market buyer, whatever.
And it's a Prince and the Pauper switch around to top it all off. Oh my God, it's out of control.
Classic story tropes. Like it just and Mortimer and whatever his name is, the guys. Which, by the way, and I mentioned this to I had to remind Adam of this. There's a callback to this movie in Coming to America.
Oh yeah.
When Akeem, I don't know if it's Akeem, I forget who Eddie Murphy's character name is. I think it's Akeem, but he takes the money that his buddy gets from the kingdom because he doesn't want to have money in America, and he puts it in a McDowell's bag, and he's walking with the girl that he's on the date with, and he gives it to these homeless guys, and he leaves, and the homeless guys are Mortimer and his friend from Trading Places, and he goes, "Mortimer, we're back."
Right, because
they're
because they're the losers from this movie.
It's so good, but if you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend it. It's very cool. It's very funny, and it's that sort of classic '80s vibe, and just happens to take place at Christmas. So.
And I was gonna say, it happens to take place at Christmas. There's a good amount of Christmasiness.
Oh yeah, I mean it's and like that's a factor into the plot too, because I remember when Eddie Murphy's character is on the trading floor for the first time, he makes a reference to one of the stocks and he says, well, it's about to be Christmas, they're all going to go get their Christmas ham, so like the stock is going to go up and whatever. So so it's very cool. So I very much enjoy it as well. So my number 4 is. Again, higher on your list.
Ooh.
So, but we're going to talk about it right now, which is your number 3. So my number 4, your number 3, Scrooged.
Bill Murray, fantastic. This is my favorite rendition of A Christmas Carol. Although I just ruined my heart for the original Christmas Carol. Although now I got to check out the Muppets.
You got to check out
Christmas
the
Carol.
ones. I think it's really good.
But this is such a great movie, such a great cast.
The opening scene when they're doing the trailer for the Lee Majors movie, and it's like the night. The name of the movie is The Night the Reindeer Died, and it's like Lee Majors and Santa Claus in an action movie, and like ninjas stormed the North Pole, and it's hysterical satire and just brilliant, and the cast is so good. It's so good. And just like Eddie, Bill Murray is just fabulous, and it just the classic, Christmas Carol in a fun, updated way. He's the president of a cable company, and like, he wants to staple antlers onto a
it's
mouse
funny
at one point.
using this cable movie conglomerate company as the setting is like perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's able to incorporate so much, and also a great use to manipulate him.
Yeah. So, your number 3, my number 4, Scrooged.
And then my number 2 is your number 5.
Yes, but before we do that, my number 3.
Oh, your number 3. Every other person in America's probably favorite.
I don't know about every other person in America, but Chris, if you're still with us, it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's Die Hard. It's Die Hard.
Die Hard.
It is Die Hard, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. And people argue
Oh, they argue that it's not a Christmas film.
And what do you think?
I think it's a film that takes place at Christmas.
But it's about Christmas.
In some ways.
It's about the gift of giving. It's about
and the preservation of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ho ho ho. Now I have a machine gun.
And a great villain.
One of the greatest villains of all time, Hans Gruber.
Yes.
And the late Alan Rickman.
There we go.
Absolutely brilliant.
There we go.
Just the just so good.
Joe never thought of treating his faces. Good job, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I love Die Hard. I love all the characters. It's takes place at the Nakatomi Christmas party on Christmas Eve. I don't know.
I may watch it this year because I purposely stay away from it.
Really? When was the last time you saw it?
Maybe 14 years ago.
This, in my mind, is one of the flawless action movies of all time. Like, this movie just, like, it's what I love about this movie, and Adam and I were talking about, this, and, and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
It's practical effects galore.
Oh, it's
beautiful staging choreography.
Oh, it's just the fact that you have this guy caught up in this situation. We were arguing about like what's better, Die Hard or Die Hard with a Vengeance, and it's like, well, they're different. And Die Hard with a Vengeance is a great movie, but the biggest difference is it's not the first. And in Die Hard and in Die Hard 2, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he makes the choice to do something about it. And in Die Hard with a Vengeance, he's forced into the situation through the manipulation of Hans Gruber's brother, Simon. And Die Hard 2 is, takes place at Christmas, but I've probably seen Die Hard 2 way more than I've seen the original Die Hard, and maybe it's a little overwatched for me. William Sadler is the bad guy. I'm a huge fan of his. He was in Deep Space Nine and some other stuff, and
he was very good.
And he's amazing.
Another movie that I probably haven't watched.
When I was a kid, I remember being terrified because he was doing naked yoga. He was preparing for war by doing naked yoga, and I was just like, this guy is legit. This guy is precision and, but Hans Gruber, man, you can't beat Hans Gruber. And both of the movies, I really enjoy. I love watching them at Christmas time because they take place at Christmas, but they're, I don't know. They're also about family. A lot of this is about John McClane's relationship with his wife and his family, and so.
I mean, you're just, it's okay. You don't have to tell me. I'm just very neutral about it because it just got to the point where everybody just so obsessed with it that it's like.
Well, I think
I'm burnt. Okay, guys.
I
thanks.
think I think people are obsessed with the idea that this is. It's a great movie, and it takes place at Christmas. Therefore, people are obsessed with the idea that it could be a great Christmas movie.
But that's right. But that's a very new thing in my life.
Right.
Versus it just was. So many people love this movie.
Yeah.
Nonstop, regardless of it taking place at Christmas. I just was like, I have to take a break from this movie.
Well, you should seriously rewatch it because it is, in my opinion, it's the granddaddy of all action movies. It is the best action movie ever made, in my opinion. Joe,
really?
Joe. So your number 2
is your number 5.
Is my number 5, and that is Elf.
Yes.
And Elf has a wonderful callback to Miracle on 34th Street.
Surprisingly, yes.
Because the department store that Elf ends up working at, that Buddy ends up working at, is Gimbel's, which is the same department store
as Miracle on 34th Street.
That Nick works at in Miracle on 34th Street. So, and that was really important to Jon Favreau, who directed this movie, to make that connection, and he felt that was a real thing that needed to happen, and to make this a classic. Adam hates this movie.
Oh, see each his own.
He hates. No, wait. Let me rephrase this.
Just the end.
He hates the end where everybody sings with the Christmas spirit.
Well, Adam.
Okay, Scrooge.
And Adam, in a world where Santa Claus actually exists, you have to understand that is the appropriate ending. Why would
And
they
is
not
Ed
be?
Asner.
Why would they not be filled with the Christmas spirit when freaking Santa actually exists? If we had Santa and he actually exists, that'd be a whole lot of verification of a whole lot of things. You know, we'd be living in a very interesting world.
So, Elf making his journey through the 7 layers of the candy cane forest.
Hey, Joe, okay? Marriages are a many-feathered peacock. She could have been very proud of him for his heroic rescue and defeating those terrorists, and she could still be upset about he never picks his socks up off the floor, he always leaves his towel on the ground in the bathroom, and has no respect for her, and never uses the dishwasher properly, and she always finds melted plastic items whenever she opens the dishwasher. These things can wear you down and break up a marriage.
You literally described my week.
You see, Marriage Counseling by Cliff, a new YouTube series.
So back to Elf. Zoe Deschanel is great. James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, just
I
everybody.
love Mary Steenburgen in everything. I love her in Last Man on
Last
Earth.
Man on Earth.
Oh, she's so
fantastic.
great. I love her.
It's just this whole this. I never thought that they could come up with a modern holiday classic like this with strong characters and a whole world within it. And I wish they would almost do more, do a sequel or do something more with this.
My niece Victoria loves this movie, and so she's a little bit of the inspiration of how this landed on my list. So there was one year, I want to say she was 7, 8, or 9, and I had bought this movie, and she played it all night long.
Yeah.
Just left it on loop.
Chris, unfortunately, Ernest Saves Christmas is not on either of our lists or in our honorable mentions, but it did make Adam's honorable mentions. Adam, you love that movie, right? Yeah, you see, it says it's a classic.
It's a classic.
Doesn't
for
like
somebody.
Elf, but loves Ernest Saves Christmas. So
Who broke you, Adam? Who broke you?
So-
No singing in Ernest.
there's no singing. He doesn't like singing. Do you not like musicals at all?
No, just that.
Oh, just that? Just singing at Christmas time? Just singing to
Do you-
renew
do
the
you know-
holiday
Do
spirit?
you know this is actually what made my list making more difficult?
Was
What was the fact that as I got older and everyone in my family started dying and Christmas just became less special and more debacle full.
yeah.
Right? And to the point of we just don't play music at Christmas,
Huh.
And because my brother wants to kill himself. My brother's one of those people who wants to kill himself, murder himself immediately. Just the hum of a Christmas tune,
Oh my gosh.
And the last
Surprised he's still alive, because he doesn't have a heart.
you'd think. My second would fully support me destroying a terrorist. I bet my future third wife will too.
I hope your current wife is not seeing that.
I hope your current wife would support you destroying terrorists.
Well, that's what he's saying. His second wife.
okay.
Because his
And
current
my
wife
third
is his
wife-
second wife.
Good Lord, man, Joe. Come on,
man, Joe, you're
You're
on
playing
a roll
with
tonight,
fire.
buddy.
What'd you do? Collect some of the fireworks from us and just go to town?
So Elf, wonderful classic. Peter Dinklage, amazing.
It's a great cast.
It's such a great cast, great story, very solid movie. Not a lot of excess in that movie. Wonderful little moments, and I really love it. So that's your number 2, Elf.
Yep.
My number 5.
and it's still a story about family, and I guess that's what keeps luring me in.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like makes the best, holiday movies, because we all want to dream of having good quality time with our families.
Or reconnecting to that time in our youth that no longer exists.
True.
Which brings us right into my number 1, but we'll wait.
Hang on. So my number 2 is I adore this movie. I know you said it didn't qualify for you on this list.
It's on my list because I felt it would not qualify.
Okay. Is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Let me tell you, as a kid, this movie affected me so positively because I felt like such a misfit. And
Also, do you know what? And first of all, especially for me, because I will remain a misfit well into the early years of college. But also, I was like, man, Santa is horrible.
I think Santa was horrible. I thought
He is
the elf
horrible.
boss is horrible.
He's horrible too. Like basically, like this movie is like people are going to crap on you, and everyone is terrible until they need you.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? That's like a theme in my life.
Well, it's like reality.
It is reality. This movie is harsh.
This movie is harsh and it's truthful and
Yeah.
it's like it prepares you for the real world.
No, like this. Right? You know what? It should go to the number one on my list because
you know, it's like your differences are what people ridicule you for and make fun of you until they need you or until they just discover that you're special or whatever, and then all of a sudden they all want to be your friends and they all want your help.
yeah.
It's insane. But I also love the characters. I love
But the other important lesson is he makes his own friends.
that's true.
Okay.
And Hermes' determination
Yep.
of not doing what everybody tells him to do.
Yeah.
He wants to be a dentist.
He wants to
and
be
so
a
he's
dentist.
going to be the best dentist he can be.
And elves, why would they not need dentists? They're eating candy canes all
of
year.
the candy they're eating.
Yeah.
Rudolph is great. Yukon Cornelius. Burl Ives narrates and sings.
Oh my God, Burl Ives.
Like there is nothing about this movie that is like that you can't just love and get around. Santa was a jerk in this movie. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So I absolutely adore this movie. I went shopping for a tree stand and a tree skirt and like a tree topper. And there was a whole section in Walmart that was nothing but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stuff. And I literally almost bought the entire thing out and just decorated my entire house in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
What stopped you?
Budget? I'll tell you. No, budget did not stop me. I'll tell you what stopped me was I started putting things in my cart and then I was like, oh, what's this? This is cute. And it was a doorknob hanger that was just the severed head of Rudolph. And I was like, okay, we've crossed the line. I'm in too deep. I gotta get out. And I put everything back. So. All right. So your number one, not on my list.
Not even in your.
Nowhere.
You don't
near
like this
my
movie
list.
at all? Did you ever like this movie? You never liked this movie.
I don't think I've ever. I think I watched it start to finish once and was like, that was cute.
Well, again, everything is subjective, right? It actually reminds me of people from my life.
It's a classic.
It is
Christmas story.
a Christmas story.
It's a classic.
Which we're getting the live version on Fox this year. What is that?
I
So
love when they do live productions. The live Grease.
I know, but it's Fox doing a live one. I'm weirded out by it, especially this. This is a hefty material to do live. But anyhow, A Christmas Story. He just wants to freaking BB gun, and he goes and shoots his eye out. It's just so great. You know?
It's a movie about the Second Amendment.
Okay, let's not get it. The bunny suit, amazing. Having their Christmas dinner in the Chinese restaurants, fantastic.
I've done that before. When I was single and living in New York City, and all my friends and my family was in Maine, we would go to the Chinese buffet on Christmas because we didn't have anywhere else to go.
And I bet it was magical at Christmas
was
because they're
amazing.
ready.
It was
No, let me tell you, I
amazing.
feel like
all the Jewish families were there, and we were just having a great time. So it was amazing.
it's a good time. I get it. I might have to incorporate that tradition. Hopefully I'll go to my cousin's house. I have such a great time at my cousin's house. So it was her son's Facebook anniversary with me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, more important than it being our Facebook anniversary, I was like, it's the fact that your family.
Yeah.
But like over at her house, it's just like she is playing music, the Latin music is going, every freaking dish you could imagine, all the Christmas things, all the Puerto Rican things, all the foods are there, the Jamaican foods are there, they're all with everyone's lineage is covered when you walk through that door. It's a good time, and she has like a nice house, so like there's room for all of us to enjoy, and it's good. Hopefully we'll do that this year.
So what about A Christmas Story appeals to you and connects you with the holidays?
First of all, identifying so much with Ralphie, listening to those radio shows, right? Because of course I was watching cartoons and stuff all the time, but I love my Superman and Thundercats and Super Friends, whatever. The decoder ring, because stuff like that was still in cereal boxes when I was a child. desperately, just that thing you desperately wanted for Christmas. So a lot of those things I still related to the first time I watched this film. But of course, I was a kid. A lot of things were going over my head too.
Mm-hmm.
And I said a word, but it wasn't fudge. The whole relationship with the kids at school, not necessarily like having the crush on a teacher thing. And I don't know, it was just really, really funny. The fact that the Santa threw him down the slide was great. And he's like screaming on the way down. He's like, wait. Oh my God, what else? His father was like 20 people I knew growing up. You know? I mean, I'm darn sure I showed up in people's homes and they had things just as off-putting as that leg lamp. My mom has this friend who loves like antique lamps that are like, you know, like a man and a woman that are half naked, like holding up a pedestal, and the pedestal's where you put in the light bulb, right? So she would get stuff like that and then freaking hand paint them.
Oh, wow.
Right? So we would like walk into her home and here's these like two half naked people that she hand painted who are holding up the freaking light bulb, you know, for the light in the room. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I'm glad she's not watching, but she would know who she is, but I'm not saying. But right, by being like, that's the sort of thing. We would go to her house at Christmas. My father would be picking up freaking coladas, and you know, Christmas time, right? And we walk through the door. That's the first thing you see when you walk through the door for years. For years. Now she doesn't have any of that stuff, but when I was a kid, for years, you look forward to seeing that thing when you walk through the door.
Wow.
Anyhow, I guess that's why this movie resonates with me. Is just like, it's not like this exact thing, but it's just the feelings it evokes.
I can understand that. All right, I've watched it. It's an okay movie. It does not resonate with me as much, but
Complicated holidays, man. Complicated holidays.
My number one does resonate with me, and it was your number 7. And my favorite Christmas movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Great film.
This movie is.
Have you shown Zephyr yet? You gotta wait a few more years.
We've watched it before, but I don't think he's paid attention to it. Now that he's a little bit older and can actually like focus on movies, if we watch it, it'll be the first time he can focus in and see. This movie to me is probably the most representative of my childhood at the holidays. Like, you know, Crazy Relatives. Like,
it's you know what, this should have been a little higher on my list, but it's on the list for the same everything you're saying.
Yeah.
All the Crazy Relatives jammed around the Christmas table.
Yeah, I mean that a little bit of that, mostly just like, oh well, we have to impress everybody by having it here or doing
Don't
this or
even
whatever.
tell me
like this, like that, like it was just, you know, and you know, trying to do what you can with what you have, and like, you know, and expecting all these things, and then it's the Jelly of the Month Club, like. Having the odd Crazy Relatives.
I've thrown expectations out the window now.
So this, and the other thing too is just,
someone wants to make my Christmas, just, you know, send me plane tickets.
But can I just tell you, the day after Thanksgiving this year, we went to go get a live Christmas tree. It's the first time we've done this, and since I think our kids were born, and we made the whole trip of it. And my wife just kept saying, "This is just like the Griswold." Like, she's like, you're going to make us trudge out into the woods and find the perfect one. It's going to be way too big. And she's like, just don't get one that's too big. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine.
And then she was stopping you.
Like, and literally I started to walk off, and she goes, honey, we need a saw. We need a saw. So it was amazing. And this movie, I just love this movie. There's so many great lines. And you know what this movie is to me? You know what one scene in this movie sums up this movie to me is when he's in the attic and he's watching those old home movies about his childhood and his like holiday season as a kid, and how he very much wants that to be like, he wants to give that to his kids, and how it doesn't quite work out. And I just love that idea that, like, no matter how much we try to make things like picture perfect, like, it's never going to be that way, and we have to accept that. And this is a perfect example of somebody not accepting that.
You know what?
Until it's too late.
So I saw the new Vacation with Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
And what's his name there? Playing his son.
Yeah.
Right? Playing Rusty. I would love if they did Christmas Vacation with Rusty, and Rusty has a similar moment where Rusty thinks that his Christmas was fantastic.
That'd be great, except
Yeah.
they ruined that movie.
They ruined the new Vacation?
Yeah.
I was fine with the new Vacation.
I did not like it at all.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fine. I think you're way too hard on it.
Yeah, the cat scene was the best.
The cat scene is great.
Cat under
The
the thing,
fucking-
first she wraps the cat up. The dinner scene is amazing. The Jello with the cat food in it, like just every little thing. Like that's the kind of stuff that happened when I was a kid. Like the dog getting in the trash. Like just these crazy things that just like you just always happen at the wrong time. It just.
Wait, I have a great idea. I'm gonna keep writing Hollywood until we get that Christmas
Until we
Vacation
get that
movie.
Christmas
Because you know what I
Vacation
want to do for Rusty's sister?
Yeah.
Right? Every time there's a new scene with her, it's one of the former actresses who played her. So that way, every single time, it's like every scene, it's like, oh, it's what's her name? Juliette Lewis? It's like, oh look, Juliette Lewis is playing her in this scene.
Yeah.
Just so it's completely confusing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Rusty was played by somebody else too in European Vacation.
I know, but since we already have what's his
And
face
in
there,
actually, and in the original too.
since we already have him solidified as
Right.
a character, unless we call him Uncle Rusty, the older ones, and then bring them all in,
Yeah.
bring them under. Oh, one of them is famous though,
Johnny Galecki.
and the other one is famous, who played Rusty.
Is it
Oh my God,
Anthony Michael Hall?
Thank you, Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, bring them in as a rotating Uncle Rusty to be hilarious. I know, I'm just being stupid now.
So my number one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It is a worthy one.
I love that movie.
It's worthy for the top 10.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our top 10 favorite holiday movies.
And we still have good time to open clips.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. We're going to jump right into what did we play, and we're going to crack open this, not this specific one, because this is just the hero one.
Oh my
But
God!
I
Wait, let's get the.
Oh yeah, let's mention
Let's
that.
do the table cam really quick because apparently you picked this up. You picked this up
Like right before-
on Monday,
on Monday,
and then I
yeah.
picked this up on Tuesday.
Can we get the table cam there, Adam, real quick? Is DC deck building game conference? Did this come out the same week as the Teen Titans Go one?
I thought it came out this week. Oh, but I guess it came out the same week.
Because they said they had it for a couple of weeks.
Oh, that's insane.
And I just ordered it for this
here.
store up here. But yeah, I already got this sleeved and ready to go.
Good.
So so we can take a
It's-
look at that. Do you
it's
want to play
two-
this? Do you want to
it-
play this tonight?
We could. It's 2 or 4 players. I really enjoy that.
You can do 3 players, but there's in fact the 2 and 3 player version plays the same.
Okay.
So, because that's to do with the assist cards. So, all right. So I pre-cut these, so so we can just crack right into them. But so we're gonna open up some Star Trek Heroclix Away Team, the original series. You guys know I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so I'm super
And we both
excited.
enjoy HeroClix, so
We both enjoy Heroclix.
look at all.
I have not been.
Oh, it's Super Rare Horror already. Oh, yes. From Mirror.
Oh, the Mirror Universe?
Yes.
Oh.
75
Pop her out.
points.
Let's get the table cam going. Oh, yeah.
Trait: assassination of superiors is a common means of advancing in rank. Free: choose an adjacent opposing character of 100 points or less. That character can't use defense powers until the beginning of your next turn. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Wow, there's also, it looks like
A Romulan Centurion.
Commander and Romulan Centurion, Starfleet Security. Oh, red
Ensign
shirt,
Chekhov.
and Ensign Chekhov.
He has a
Very
Starfleet
cool.
keyword. And Starfleet security officer. He's a red shirt, and the trait is red shirt. When an adjacent friendly character that's 100 points or less has the Starfleet keyword and would be KO'd, you may instead KO the Starfleet security officer. If you do, turn the friendly character to its last non-KO click. That is so great. That is so great.
Oh my gosh. So, my rare is a Romulan subcommander, but most notably, I have Bele from the episode Let This Be Your Last Battlefield, I think is the name of the episode. And it's the one where the two guys are chasing, one guy is chasing the other guy because he's a criminal or whatever, and you find out he's a criminal because they're black and white on either side of their faces, and he's black on the wrong side of his face or something. Also, we got some tribbles. Oh, this is crazy. 0 movement, 0 attack, 3 defense, and 0 damage, and it's 1 click. I gotta grab the card on these guys because
this pack I just opened is crazy. I got Ahura, who's the rare.
Yeah.
I got Lieutenant Sulu, who also has the Starfleet team ability. When this character is given a move action, modify their speed by +1. So Ahura and Sulu have the team ability. Now this Ahura I really like. She is 40 points. Okay. Her trait is Communications Officer. At the beginning of the game, you may choose a copyable team ability that an opposing character can use. As long as Lieutenant Ahura is on the map, adjacent friendly characters and friendly characters with the Starfleet keyword can use that team ability. It is wonderful, especially if you have all Starfleet. Oh, great!
Is that like Intercept Communications or something?
No, it's Communications Officer.
The new movie Uhura from the First Away Team's Fast Forces has a very similar ability to that.
Now listen to this. So her damage power, which is on her first 3 clicks of 4, Perplex. Lieutenant Uhura can use it as if she has a range value of 10 and has improved targeting, hindering, blocking, and elevation.
Wow.
She is awesome for 40 points. Awesome.
So tribbles are 5 points. 5 points of tribbles right here. All right. It has no powers. It just has traits, and it's got 3 different traits. First off, 50% of their metabolism is geared for reproduction.
Of course.
I know a lot of people like that.
Yes.
So this is a free action. If another friendly character has not excuse me. If another friendly character has not activated this same effect this turn, generate a number 0, 1, 2 tribbles. So you basically get another one of these. Okay? Then they have a trait that says tribbles have no teeth. Opposing characters do not stop movement when becoming adjacent to tribbles and automatically break away from tribbles. Then its third trait is I want these tribbles off my ship. Unique modifier. Characters not named Tribble modify their speed -1 for each Tribbles adjacent to them, and their attack -1 for each 2 Tribbles adjacent to them. If they have the Klingon keyword, they also modify their defense value -1 for each Tribble adjacent
This is like the
to them.
best 5 points ever the game has ever created.
And you just make those Tribbles as you go.
Damn! All right, so I got super rare Charlie X, who has the trait Don't Laugh at Me. When Charlie X is the only target of an attack that misses, after resolutions, deal the attacker damage equal to its printed damage value.
Wow.
What is that? Super triples?
It's a Horda. It's the Horda. It's a peanut-based Horda. Oh, I can't get into the bag. Here we go. You ever seen the episode Devil in the Dark? Where there's all these silicone eggs? Oh, wow. So there's the Horda. Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. 10 movement, 10 attack, 18 defense, 4 damage with invulnerability.
Yo, I pulled Nurse Chapel also. She has a damage power for all 3 clicks of her 15 points.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a nurse first, Dr. McCoy. She has support when Nurse Chapel uses it. If her target has the Starfleet keyword, increase the result of the die roll to heal by 1.
Wow.
Also, I pulled an Andorian. Okay, he can use close combat expert or range combat expert. The Romulan commander, this one's unique, the one that I pulled. He has the trait just one more duty to perform. If a friendly character that's adjacent or has the Romulan keyword is KO'd, after resolutions, you may deal 1 damage to all characters adjacent to that character's square. Cool.
So Horda has a special movement power, sidestep, and improved movement ignores and destroys blocking. If Horda ends a move action in which it moved 5 squares or less, and is adjacent to a square of blocking terrain. After resolution, it may make a close attack. Wow! And it has a stop click on its last click, and can use.
Wow, it's got poison. It's got 10 attack. It's got 4 damage with exploit weakness.
Yep.
All that for 100 points. Very nice.
Yep.
Oh, mirror, mirror, Spock.
Ah!
Is he my rare? He must be my rare.
Do they have chases? They do have chases.
They have chases. Aren't the chases all the shirtless guys from the Naked Time?
Is it really?
That's what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
Wow. Well, okay. He's 100 points. This Spock. I love it. Mirror Universe keyword, Vulcan keyword, Scientist keyword. Agony Booth is his trait. He can use Barrier. When Mr. Spock uses it, after resolution, if an opposing character is adjacent to 4 of his barrier markers, roll a d6. And deal that character penetrating damage equal to half the results. Wow. He's got 18 defense with Mastermind, 6 range, starts with Stealth, Precision Strike. Ooh, he is just great.
So we have Koloth here, and he's holding a Tribble and a Klingon Disruptor. He's one of the Klingon nemesis of Kirk. And then we also got Dr. McCoy, regular Dr. McCoy. He's got a really cool power, a really cool damage power that says he's got support, and when Dr. McCoy uses it, his attack value becomes 11, and he does not take pushing damage for this action. And he's 45 points or 25 points, and he starts with that. He's got that power on every single click, and he's got a 0 attack. So, the hell with your logic, Mr. Spock. Sometimes a man just has to follow his gut and take a chance. Free action, choose a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire. The next attack roll that character makes this turn can't be re-rolled, and on a result of 2 to 9, the attack misses. A result of 2 is still a critical miss. A 10 to 12, the attack is a critical hit. Oh wow, that's an interesting power. I'm not sure it's usable or viable, but Mikado.
Okay, how about it's Mikado?
James Rand.
Yes, it's Yeoman Rand, Lieutenant Leslie, Lieutenant Kyle, and Mikado in the same pack. What the heck?
Nice. All right, I pulled. I think it's a super rare. Yeah, super rare. Christopher Pike. And from the episode The Cage, when he's forced to relive his mission that he did earlier that week in the show, there's a way out of any cage. I'll find it. Outwit, when Christopher Pike uses it after resolutions, you may destroy an adjacent wall or square blocking terrain. That's pretty cool. Not bad. He's got an interesting click, charge blades, combat reflexes, special damage power, which is the outwit. And then this is actually really nice. He's got that for 2 clicks. His next 2 clicks are Flurry with Toughness and Battle Fury. That's pretty good. And then his last 2 clicks are Running Shot with an 11 attack, and then Energy Shield Deflection. That's okay. I normally like to see range stuff at the beginning of a dial and then close stuff later. But this isn't bad.
Hey, a lot of magical things can happen if he's paired up with Aurora.
That's true.
So Mikado has the animal and monster keywords. Okay, he starts with a 10 attack, most of his dial. His last 3 clicks is 998. He's got an 18 defense to start. He's got leap climb, and his attack power is 1 has taken the Mikado bite, he dies. When Mikado makes a close attack and hits, after resolutions, give the hit target an action token. When Mikado hits a character with 2 action tokens, damage dealt is penetrating. Ooh. Now, mind you, he only has leap climb, that special power. Willpower starts with an 18 defense, maxes out at 60 points. He seems all right. It's interesting.
So I got. Is that your last?
He's my last fair. Although I got
Your last booster.
I got Rand and Leslie and all them in here.
So I pulled a chase.
Okay.
We got Kang.
Woo!
Kang, who is one of Kirk's, probably like the number one villain that they really wanted Kirk to have, but through scheduling conflicts, John Coleos, who plays Kang, was unable to. Oh no, I'm sorry. John Coleos plays Kor. Kor was it Kor or Kang? One of them was supposed to be his chief villain throughout the series, and just scheduling conflicts made it so they couldn't do it. So they had Kor and Kang and Koloth, and there's a great Deep Space Nine episode where they bring them all together with judging attacks. But anyway, so this is what Kang does. He has a trait. Unique modifier: if an opposing character missed since your last turn, adjacent friendly characters and friendly characters with the Klingon keyword modify attack +1. He has a defense power. Now I now control this ship's power and life support systems. He has barrier and toughness. At the beginning of each opponent's turns, choose one of that player's characters that is adjacent to at least 2 of Kang's barrier markers. The chosen character can't move this turn unless it's the only character on its force. Ooh, that's interesting. He's got some pretty decent powers, too. He starts off with an 8 sidestep, an 11 precision strike, an 18 with the defense power, which is just toughness, but it's still an 18, a 3 leadership. And
How many points, too?
60 or 40.
Good for 60.
Then you can start him at 40, and he gets, charge, blades, reflexes. And then his last click is nice. It's got sidestep and, are you ready for this? Sidestep and regen.
No.
Are his only 2 powers on his last click.
That's good, though.
That's real, yeah, but that's a great combination right there.
Get your slip away.
Get out of there and, heal up. So, awesome. Well, some pretty fun pulls. I love the tribbles. I can't wait to see more of this set. I'm definitely going to buy some.
Well, I realize they're uncommons and stuff, but Yeoman Rand has a great attack power that she starts with, right? And again, she's 25 points.
And she's unique as well.
She's unique. All right, but for 25 points, her attack power is, can I help you, Captain? Give her a power action and remove an action token from an adjacent friendly character of 50 points or less. If they have the Starfleet keyword, that character can be a character of 100 points or less.
Whoa.
So very good for
So wait, you
25
give her a
points.
power action and it just removes an action token.
Yep.
That is super good.
Yes.
That is super good.
Yeah, especially
That's just transferring the action token.
Yep. Lieutenant Leslie has a trait, reporting back for duty captain. Once per game, Lieutenant Leslie would be KO'd. Instead, place him on click number 1 in a square adjacent to another friendly character with the Starfleet keyword. Lieutenant Kyle just has the Starfleet team ability. Oh, he has TK for 25 points.
Yeah.
And sidestep.
You know why? You know why? Transporter chief. He was the transporter operator
Before
in the original series.
all the whole time.
Yep.
Well, good for him. Romulan Lieutenant, we have him moving forward as his trait. Friendly characters that are adjacent or Romulan, or that have the Romulan keyword, can use improved movement, ignore hindering.
It's not bad.
That's really good. And wait, does he have the Romulan team ability? No.
Is it,
Yeah, Romulan team ability is stealth.
It's Batman. It's Batman.
Well, that Ahura is just the best 40 points ever. And that Yeoman Rand is a fantastic 25 points. And the Transporter Chief is just like...
I think that they're gonna... I think that some of these pieces are gonna see play.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they really aggressively made this set really good.
To the best of their ability.
Yeah,
Because
so that they could... Because, this isn't as popular as, like, the Marvel stuff. But I think that it's... popular enough that that people are going to want to get these pieces because they're good, And so I'm excited. I want all the mirror ones. I'm super excited. The OP prize is the evil version of Kirk from The Enemy Within, when the transporter splits him into the two personalities. And so super excited. I love the Horda. I love the tribbles. I can't wait to get a whole pile of tribbles and just breed them all over the place.
I was really surprised by the Horda, but it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, the Horda's awesome. I'm very excited. Great episode too. I also play Star Trek Online, and you can get little pet Hordas, which is fun. So, but yeah. So, all right, let's move on to our thought bubbles for the night. Great selection of comics this week. There's been a lot of good stuff coming out.
Oh, all the mid-season finales so far for the CW.
For CW?
But yeah, so I told you my theory already before we started filming. Like, I feel like they're like, we got a bunch of people on board with Crisis on Earth X. Let's try to wow them with our mid-season finales. And I'm just like, oh my God.
The Supergirl one was fantastic. I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, they just left her for dead, Doomsday style.
It was so good.
You know?
So the Flash one's been pretty good. So
the premiere episode for when Supergirl returns is called Legion of Superheroes.
Ooh, I hope we see some Legion action.
Well, you know, we have like what 6 people in the ship that we haven't seen yet. We know Brainiac 5 is one of them because he was cast.
I kind of hope Clark shows up too, and he's like, "Oh, hey guys."
I would love for Clark to show up.
That'd be cool.
It's very different that the Legion is inspired by Supergirl.
But I think it works for the show.
Of course it works for the show. It's Supergirl, so yeah, it works even better. But it would be nice. I would have preferred, because I'm a jerk, but I would have preferred if Imra had said, you know, the actions of you and your cousin really inspired us. You know, I would have really liked that. But it is what it is. And I'm not taking anything away from Supergirl.
Very cool. So, holiday movies, we wanted to get this list out to you guys soon so you had time to watch them. Next week, we'll have a show next week.
It'll be our holiday spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know how spectacular it's going to be, but it'll be a show.
We should go upstairs. We should have punch. It should be great.
We'll try. We'll see what we can do. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to move this equipment up there. So.
There's manga and saunas all over this place during the daytime.
Yeah, I don't want them touching our equipment. Like,
okay, so just use the 2 you trust.
Sure.
Adam and plus one.
So, but after that, we're gonna take a break for 2 weeks. So basically the week before Christmas and the week of Christmas, and then we'll be back right after the New Year. So, so we got a lot of exciting things planned for the show. Take a couple weeks off with all the holiday craziness, but we will have a show next week, and then we'll be off for 2 weeks. So,
I'm not gonna know what to do with myself.
So Cliff and I are going to go upstairs and play possibly some DC deck building confrontations, or we'll play some other stuff. I got everything with me, so if you want to play other stuff, you can. So super excited about that. But as always, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you sticking in with us. And I'm your host, Tony Cox.
And Clifford Parmenter, as always. Tweet us, like us, subscribe on YouTube. And follow us on Instagram. We're all over the place.
Absolutely.
Just, you know.
I love the coffee. You stole Diana's the coffee.
Diana Leto. Oh my God! Let me talk about that really quick. Okay. So like Diana Leto has been putting up. We love her.
I love her. Yeah.
And she's been putting up like celebrity, like classic black and white celebrity coffee drinking and coffee stuff, right?
Every morning too.
Almost every morning, right? And it's just been great. I love it. It inspired me. So we didn't even talk about my toy drive. All right. So anyhow, my toy drive was coming up, right? And I inspired by her. I took a photo that morning in black and white of me drinking coffee. I had my mom take the picture, right? Mm-hmm. And I have all these coffee mugs. Yeah. So if you notice, it's a different coffee mug every day.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, I tagged Diana. She absolutely loved it. I'm so happy. And so I've been doing it every day. And it's like other than some occasional Heroclix, is like the most popular thing I've ever done on my Instagram. But yeah, it's enjoyable and it's fun. I think I only missed one day. But yeah, so that was all leading up to the toy drive. So the toy drive, man. You know what? As far as my stress level goes, like I didn't want to kill anyone this year.
That's a good sign.
You know, we did really well. So we're on my school that I work at. We're on the church's property, right? So we had to ask the church permission. Of course, like, we couldn't be there past 3, all this other stuff. And they wanted the parking lot for themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, so this is what really bothers me is, like, your church, it's Christmas time. Why not lend your parish's support to the cause? Instead, it was like, nope, just make sure you guys don't abuse the parking lot. So I was very upset because I was making people, park on the side street, or they have to park where students park 2 blocks away. Oh, and so ultimately, no one came, no one bothered us. Our parking lot was empty. So the last 2 people who showed up, I was like, just take a parking spot. Because there's only like 2 hours left. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Someone's gonna storm in here and yell at me, okay? And too bad. Oh no, we have to find another location next year.
Well, it'll take us 2 hours to pack up.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, so there's a story. Like 2 years ago, I was there. I did not account for their 4:30 mass, and also the person we had spoken to then, who was no longer even with the church by the time I had my toy drive, didn't account for the 4:30 mass. So that was a huge problem. Lots of yelling, lots of screaming, very upsetting. And then last year we were in a lovely, lovely, accommodating place, but it was the size of a shoebox. So this year back to school, we smoothed everything out. We have to be out of there by 3. It was really great. This guy Wes was our Marine who volunteered. He loved it. He saw all the artwork. He talked to all the artists and illustrators. He was so happy. Christian St. Pierre was there. Raymond Lowe was there. Ryan Brown was there, who you remember, and Jim O'Reilly was there, who we have to interview him next time we have them together, and so that was great, wonderful stuff that we had for the auction. I felt I was very neutral because I was asking for cash, and I started like every auction at like $5 except for one because it was just gorgeous piece of original art, and it was like, I'm not letting that go for just $5 or $10.
Yeah.
Okay, so we brought in for the actual Toys for Tots organization $430.
Nice.
Logan Callahan was there for singing. He did a blend of pop and.
Oh yeah, I saw some of the pictures.
He did a blend of pop music and Christmas music acoustically. It was great. I made him do Diamonds, Rihanna's Diamonds. Like he did it for my birthday a couple years ago. It was lovely. I loved it. He also did one of Britney Spears' songs. I forgot which one, but it was like everybody was like, "What?" It was really good. Anyhow, so then there was like a little bit of debate on like how many toys we brought in. So there's this one woman who always volunteers through Toys for Tots with us every year. So every year she shows up with the sweater, the hat, the whole thing. Her name's Tina. I love her. There's another woman who usually joins us on and off. Her name's Janet. So the 2 of them used to war over winning the silent auction or raffle prizes.
Yeah.
Right? Then Janet got stationed to other places. Then Anthony, who owns Alternaverse, and Tina started warring over prizes. Right? And so like this year, there was these Jordans that I had donated to me, the Jordan sneakers. So they're very expensive, and Tina has the highest bid. And Anthony and this other dude are looking at it. He's like, no, don't bid. Don't outbid Tina. Look at her. She's going to kill us. She's going to kill us, that face. So there's this other gentleman who comes every year, and I didn't realize it's Tina's husband. So he's there, and he and Tina are in the back, and they're like counting all the toys. By the way, PetSmart, for our area, so many stuffed animals. I could have constructed my own Clifford the Big Red Dog with all these stuffed animals. So I see them counting before the cars pull up front. Then the cars pull up front to load, right? So someone outside is like, 300 or something. So now I'm on the microphone inside. I was like, how many? And I knew Tina and her husband knew. And Tina's like, 550. And I'm like, yes. So we did really good. I'm sorry I made that too long, but it was really good. Had a great time. Super excited.
That's awesome. That's a great story to end the show on.
Yes.
And
that's the holidays, people.
Yeah.
That's the holiday season as far as I'm concerned. That's amazing.
So take that out with you into the world, that positivity, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Good night.